If you opened your spring 401k statement, you may have felt that familiar pit. You did everything right. You contributed every paycheck. You did not touch it. You did not panic sell. And the balance still dropped. That feeling is more common than you think. Millions of responsible savers felt the exact same thing this spring. Today, we're going to talk about why it happened, what the data actually says, and what it means for your retirement from here on out. Let's start with the number. According to a Fidelity Investments Q1 2026 retirement analysis released on May 8th, 2026, the average 401k balance fell 4% in the first quarter of 2026. That brought the average balance down to $141,000. Now, if you're in your 30s or 40s, that number might make you feel two things at once: relief, because you're not alone, and pressure because you know that number should be higher by now. Both of those feelings are valid. But here's the thing. The same Fidelity report showed something most people completely skipped over. The total savings rate for 401k participants hit a record 14.4% in Q1 2026. That means savers like you were putting in more than ever before, even as the balance went in the other direction. You did not stop, you did not pull back. You kept contributing at the highest rate on record, and the balance still dipped. This is not a you problem. This is a market problem. The S&P 500 dropped 4.3% in Q1 2026. The Nasdaq dropped 7%. Most major benchmarks posted losses, and the declines were concentrated late in the quarter, which is part of why the statement shock hit so hard. You were probably fine in January. February felt okay. Then March came, and the number completely changed. If your portfolio had more exposure to growth in tech, you felt it harder. But even if you were in a broad, diversified fund, you felt it too. This was a quarter that challenged even the most steady, consistent savers across the board. And here's what I want you to hear. This drop came from events largely out of your control. Geopolitical tensions drove market volatility throughout the quarter. You did not cause that. Your contribution strategies did not cause that either. The world moved, and your statement reflected it. But what if you already felt behind before you opened that statement? Because for those of us who started later, yes, including myself, who did not open a 401k at 22, who maybe spent their early 30s catching up on debt or their emergency fund first, a 4% drop doesn't feel like just any number. It feels like confirmation. And that is a psychological trap. The 2026 EBRI Greenwald Retirement Confidence Survey, published April 21st, 2026, found that only 64% of Americans feel confident they will have enough money to live comfortably into retirement. That number is down from the prior year. Not because Americans stopped saving, but because the weight of rising costs, healthcare concerns, and yes, volatility, it compounds, especially for someone who carries the quiet belief that they're already running late. When you started at 32 instead of 22, or when you had to pause contributions for years due to real life reasons, a quarter like Q1 doesn't feel like just noise. It feels like the universe confirming your worst fear. But what if that fear is wrong? Here's what the Fidelity report actually says when you look at the full picture. Year over year, Q1 2025 to Q1 2026, average 401k balances are up 11%. One quarter hurt, but the year behind it moved forward. And if you go back 10 years, average 401k balances are up 61% from Q1 2016. The short views say you lost ground. The long view says you're on a climb. Those two things can be true at the very same time. The real question is not which one is accurate. The real question is, which one are you letting drive your decisions? So how often do you check your 401k? That one habit, more than anything else, shapes how behind you feel. Research in behavioral finance consistently shows that the more frequently you check an investment, the more loss you experience emotionally, even when the long-term trajectory is positive. Think of it this way. Imagine filling a bucket with water. Every time you look in the bucket, you focus on how empty it still is, not on how much you have poured in. But you are still pouring. Every paycheck, every year, the water is still going in. A single quarter's dip does not drain the bucket. It just changes the reflection at the surface. The problem is not always the market. Sometimes it is how often you're staring at the surface. Here's the scenario. You're 35 years old. You have been contributing consistently to your 401k for the last 6 to 7 years. Life got in the way a few times. A job change, a move, maybe even a baby. But you kept at it. You open your Q1 statement, the balance is down, and your first instinct is, should I change something? That instinct is natural. But here's the counterintuitive part. The savers who have historically come out ahead in volatile markets are not the ones who made the smartest adjustment during the worst quarter. They are the ones who did not adjust at all. They stayed the course. They kept contributing. They did not let a statement dictate a long-term strategy. And that is exactly what the Fidelity data reflects. IRA contributions in Q1 2026 were up 29% compared to the same period last year. That means in the same quarter where balances dropped, people were putting more in, not less. That's not denial, that's discipline. Now I want to be clear, I'm not going to tell you to ignore your statement. I'm not going to tell you that everything is fine and there's nothing to worry about. What I am going to do is give you 3 grounded things you can actually look at this week. First, check your contribution rate, not your balance. Open your 401k portal and look at what percentage you are contributing. If you're below 10%, even a small increase, $50 or $100 per month, adds up significantly over 10 to 15 years. The balance reacts to the market. The contribution rate is the number you actually control. Second, zoom out to the year-over-year view. Most platforms will show you your balance at this time last year. If you are up, remind yourself of that. If you're still down year over year, that is real information worth understanding, not panicking over, but understanding. Third, set a review schedule and stick to it. Quarterly at most. Once a year if you can manage it emotionally. The more you check, the more each short-term move feels personal. The less you check, the more your long-term discipline can do its work quietly. Here's what I want you to take from this video. You're not behind because you checked your statement this spring. The anxiety is real. The drop is also real. And the concern that you need to do more, that's real too. But the data tells a completely different story than the feeling. 61% growth over 10 years for consistent 401k savers. 11% growth year over year. A record savings rate in the same quarter balances dropped. These are not small details. They are the actual story underneath the headline. The market will keep moving. There will be more quarters that sting. And every single time, the question will be the exact same one. Did you stay steady? Or did you let that short-term number rewrite your long-term plan? The real test is not the high. The real test is right now. So if you've learned anything from this video, make it be this. The time to act is not when everything feels comfortable. It's when it doesn't. The discomfort you feel after a quarter like this one, that is not a warning to stop. That is a signal to stay the course and stay informed. If this video helped you see your Q1 statement differently, subscribe for more investing and retirement strategies. Better investments, better future. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in my next video.